to the State Police exhibit here at the fair. This is the Special Operations Response Team Rappelling Demonstration. This is really our third show. I have to be honest with you, we're still figuring out some bugs, so bear with us. We hope we're going to be able to pull it off for you. All right, without further ado, let me introduce for you your host for the show, Trooper Eric Osborne.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Day 2 of the Great New York State Fair. Thank you for coming out to our new exhibit, helping us break in our new tower. We're excited about it. For those of you who used to come over there, you're coming over here. It's a nicer place, but naturally, as humans, we get a little nervous about change. Don't worry, this show will be word for word just about the exact same as last year. That's just to keep you guys at ease. We are SWORD. SWORD is the SWAT team for the New York State Police. As such, we conduct all those activities and missions that you would expect a SWAT team to conduct. High-risk felony warrants, drug raids, barricaded subjects, hostage rescue, dignitary protection. However, we also do a few tasks that you wouldn't necessarily associate with a SWAT team. Specifically, search and rescue and high-angle rappelling and rope rescue, which is what we're going to demonstrate here today. So without further ado, let's bring the guys down and introduce them. You look up on the roof, on the left side, you've got Sergeant Jeffrey Levin. On the right side, you've got Trooper Christopher Sierra. On the ground here, direct from Division Headquarters in Albany, you've got Sergeant Sturza. Spinning our beats in that top window is going to be our DJ, Trooper Brian DeRoche. Big contingent for Trooper DeRoche. Up on that roof on the left side, you've got Trooper Joseph Burr. And on the right side, you've got Trooper Paul Odin Darmody Latham. A lot of names. All right, while those guys are climbing back up, I'll go over a little bit of what it takes to become a member of SWORD. If you're a trooper for 2 years and you want to put in for a tryout, you can request it. If your chain of command thinks you fit the bill and might have what it takes, they send you a 3-day free selection. If you complete that 3-day free selection, then you go to a 2-week phase 1. If you complete that 2-week phase 1, you may or may not be selected to go to a 6-month school. Out of that 6-month school, 3 weeks are all rope work. We do standard seated hip rappelling. We do rope rescue, putting people on Stokes baskets, getting them out of precarious situations and rescuing them. And we do helicopter operations, where we do hoist, fast rope, and rappel from heights of over 200 feet. Just to give you a little frame of reference, that tower is 6 feet, so 60 feet, so it's a little more than 3 times that height. Each guy comes down, they're going to have a figure 8 on the front of their harness. That's this piece of metal right here. That's their descent device, and that's how they control their speed or lack thereof. That top hand's going to be on the rope. That's just a guide hand so they don't flip upside down. The back hand over by their hip, that's the brake. That's the money maker right there. If you open that up, unkink the rope and allow it to feed freely through that device, that's what you call letting her eat, and that's when you let gravity just take over and drag you down. When you pinch it down towards your hip, you put friction on that device and hopefully slow and stop you. Telling you is one thing, showing you is something different. So we're gonna have these two guys come on down and demonstrate. Come on down, demonstrate. All right, you saw Jeff and Chris came down silky smooth. Got that top hand as a guide hand. That back hand was their break. Came down no problem. However, sometimes you got that rope right wide open. You got that hand open a little bit, and you'll hit one of these little loops or whirls. That rope can kick out. If you lose your brakes on a thruway, that's a bad day of driving, right? You lose your brakes up here, that could be a real bad day on the road. So that's why we got good Sergeant Souza here. He's not being rude, showing you his back with his well-defined lats and traps. He's performing a very, very vital role down here. As our most experienced guy and our ropes master, he's got the oh-so-important, yet not at all glamorous position of being the rope safety or the belayman. If somebody's coming down and they lose control of their brake hand and they lose that rope, all Derek's going to do is apply even pressure, putting friction on that device, slowing it again, hopefully stopping that trooper before they land on the ground. Again, telling you is one thing, showing you is something different. So what we're going to do to demonstrate is we're going to have one of these gentlemen take a few steps back. They're going to get a running start, and they're going to throw themselves off of the roof with no hands on the rope. They're going to come hurtling towards Earth at an incredible rate of speed, accelerating at 9.8 meters per second. So at the last moment, Sergeant Souza, with his raw power and cat-like reflexes, will deploy the belay, stopping that trooper mere inches from certain death or at least a sprained ankle. Ladies and gentlemen, you paid for your whole seat. You're only going to need the edge. This is going to be awesome. So, which one of you guys is doing it? You guys for real? You guys were supposed to discuss. It should have been hashed out a while ago. You didn't discuss it at all? The puppy's out again? What's that, Chris? What happened? Oh, what's up, Chris? Hey, Jeff. Thanks for volunteering. So, what Jeff's going to do, he's going to back up, he's going to run a start and throw himself off. And it's going to be fantastic. What do you say, Jeff? You down with it? What? Remember what happened last time Derek belayed you? Yeah. Of course I do. We all do. It was kind of a big deal. But you're back to work and you've healed up nicely. And I can barely even notice the limp. You look good. And anyway, since you've been gone, Derek's improved his belay success rate. 60% of the time, it works every time. What do you say? You ready?
Yeah. Yeah.
What? Derek, what's going on? You guys are new belaymen? Is that what's going on? Well, there's 3 of them all together. I'm sure they'll nail it. What's your belay success rate, ladies? Just pull on it? It's very technical. You just pull on it. Yeah? Yeah, real good. Do you know what your belay success rate is, ladies? After this, it's either going to be 100 or 0. It will be a perfect belay success rate no matter what. I'm brave. Typical state guy. What do you say? Jeff, he still seems up in the air about it. What do you say, Derek? You want to hop on it? All right. I guess Derek's going to do it. Folks, we're going to try to give Jeff a little bit of encouragement here. Try to help him out. Get him worked up. What do you say? You want to see him jump off? All right, folks. Count 3 with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, outstanding. Third show, that's pretty good. We try to get him a little closer each show. Come back on Labor Day, it'll be about 10 inches shorter, covered in grass stains. We'll have a nice divot in that part of the lawn. Have to fill that up real nice. Good job, gentlemen. All right, if you're coming down on these ropes, like I said before, you've got that brake hand. If you get into a bad spot or twist it up somehow, as long as you don't panic, as long as you maintain that brake hand, you're not going to hurt over the earth. To demonstrate that, we're going to have Joe and Paul come on down. Again, you see Paul and Joe come down silky smooth, that standard seated hip rappel. But now they're going to go ahead and transition that brake hand from their right to their left. It's gonna allow them to go ahead and invert. Now, even though they're upside down, as long as they maintain that break hand, they're not going to come hurtling face first towards the earth. This is what we call the commando crawl. It allows the trooper to come down and see where he's going before presenting his feet in any windows or open spaces. A lot of times people will ask us, wouldn't the bad guys see the ropes hanging below the window? They would if they were in fact there. In any tactical operation, each trooper would have what's called a rope bag hooked to their harness. So those ropes would not be dangling below. They'd hook to the trooper and it would be fed directly out from there. Once these guys get down to a certain level where they feel they've seen enough, they can go ahead and right themselves. Silky smooth. We resume that right break hand. And come on down. Ladies and gentlemen, the invert. It's tougher than it looks, folks. All right, if you are coming down and you get twisted up, kind of like you've seen before, and you're in a bad spot, sometimes people will be rappelling down a cliff face. They will underestimate how long that cliff face is and actually run out of rope. It does happen quite often. So if they're coming down or if they get somehow hurt or injured and they're in a bad spot, we have to be able to get at it. You can't bring a helicopter into a sheer cliff like that. Those rotors won't allow us to get that close. We can't necessarily bring a ladder to most situations. So when they get tied up, what they're going to have to do is the tie off. And to demonstrate that, we're going to have Jeff come on down. All right, so Jeff's working his way down a sheer face somewhere, maybe in the high peaks or perhaps Ithaca, because it is gorgeous. He gets to a spot, there we go, Ithaca in the house. He gets to where he wants to be. He's going to go ahead and wrap that rope around his descent device. Not once, not twice, but thrice. That's a tie-off. After that, he can go hands-free. Doesn't have to resume that break hand anymore. He can invert. He can literally and figuratively hang out. Take out a cell phone, snap a selfie, send it to Instagram, do whatever he wants. But say the good sergeant's hanging out up there, enjoying his time, doing an oil painting, whatever floats his boat, and some rocks kick loose and hit him in the head. Some rocks kick loose. Rocks, I need rocks. I need rocks right under the rope, guys. I need rocks. Hit him in the head. Send it. Close rig and destroy. Go ahead, let him rip.
They don't want to do it.
Oh, that's a close one! Who had the heater? Oh, now he's armed. Watch out. Who wants another one? The Yankees. Let him rip again. Let him rip again, boss. Give him the heat. You shouldn't have sent it back, Jeff. That's a poor decision. Oh, nice try. Nice. Good arm. I didn't think you guys had to get that close. I've been telling Jeff for weeks we're going to go with lawn darts instead. A lot more kinetic energy, a lot more accurate. All right, so now Jeff's there. He's been knocked unconscious. If he was just a lowly trooper, that's no big deal. When he comes to, he can figure it out, but he happens to be a sergeant. A lot of time and money invested in that guy, and we can't leave him laying there. So if you look all the way up at the top, you got Chris, who's going to come down and help him out. Latch hands on. Oh, Chris. We pick all our own music out here. Chris with a very aggressive choice. You'll see on the front of Chris's harness, he does not have a figure eight. He has a brake bar rack. That's designed so he can go ahead and take additional weight onto his system. The additional weight in this situation is, of course, going to be Jeff. He gets down to a position where he feels comfortable. He has to tie off as well, lest he fall, become a casualty in needing of rescue himself. Once he's got that tie off, he's going to reach into that cargo pocket and pull out that blue strap. That blue strap is actually called a pick-off strap. And it allows him to bring Jeff's weight off of the system. invert there, because the more room he has, the more of that weight he can take off of Jeff's system. So it's nice if they're not that close. Once Chris hooks him in, he's going to use those massive biceps that he somehow squeezes into a medium t-shirt. And he's going to start pulling Jeff up to it. There's a gun show. You see how Jeff instinctively reaches for Chris' legs? We're a very tight team. At this point, we ask no photographs. We take this. At this point, Chris has all of Jeff's weight on his system, has removed Jeff from his line, and is simply securing that hardware for future use. Now Jeff is free of his line completely. We have that hardware retained, and hopefully Chris has performed each step properly, and he'll be able to lower himself and Jeff slowly and safely to the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, that is textbook kickoff. All right, we've showed you some of the basic rappelling. We've shown you some of the safety precautions that we take and have in place. We've showed you a little bit of rescue work. However, there is also a tactical avenue or version of what we do with the rope work. Say there's a bad guy creeping around these fairgrounds, he grabs up a kid and he runs up and hides in this building. Again, if you saw the K9 show, I don't know why bad guys keep gravitating toward this area, but they do. So now he chose his spot and he barricaded himself in there. He sees this ladder, he knows we're not going to be able to get up there easily, and he's barricaded that door. Unfortunately for that bad guy, say police special operations response team doesn't need to come in through the door. We can come in through the window. So if you look all the way up top, you've got Paulie, who's ready to do the recon for the rescue. Paul's going to land nice and gently on that roof so as not to advise the bad guy of his presence. He's going to switch that right hand and invert. He's going straight to the commando call, getting eyes in each room before he presents himself or is visible. Paulie's signaling, there's nothing in there of interest for us. We're not worried about that room. If you look on the right side of Paul's harness, you'll see a small canister. That's an NFDD or noise flash diversion device, commonly referred to as a flashbang. It emits a bright light and loud noise, which you'll hear shortly, which distracts and disorients anyone in that room. Paul's got eyes on. He's reaching up for that bang. This appears to be our target location. Paul has the bang. Joe is in position. It looks like we're ready to effect the rescue. Joe's in the window. There appears to be a tussle of some sort. I think the bad guy's got the upper hand. I think Joe's in trouble. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry you had to witness that. That was a clear violation of New York State Police policy and procedures. Joe, the manual clearly states you are not to throw a pedophile out of a second-story window. Our rules and regs clearly states got to be the third floor or higher. Second floor ain't getting it done. You know what I'm saying, fellas? How's Timmy doing? Timmy's okay, all right. Kid gets in so much trouble every day, we just save him. Outstanding. All right, folks. This concludes our show. You guys have been a great audience. This represents a week or two off of our regular gig out here, and it's fun for us to interact with you guys and have some fun on the tower. However, at the end of the day, it is a serious business. If you look up on the top of that tower, we have 4 shield numbers. Those belong to Michael Strang, Ross Riley, David Brinkerhoff, and Joseph Longobardo. Those 4 men were operators on our team who died in the line of duty. Those men gave their lives in the service of the people of the state of New York, and we feel it's those guys that deserve the real round of applause today. Awesome, you guys have been fantastic. Thank you very much. feel free to come up after this. We got some stickers. We'll post some pictures, answer questions. Make sure to hit the State Police Trooper Foundation. Get yourself all your State Police Centennial swag and enjoy the rest of your day at the great New York State Fair.